Hi, I'm Christine. Today we are looking at people of color, Sandra Oh, Lizzo, and Maya Rudolph. The question that people have is whether the lightness or darkness of skin pigmentation affects the process of finding a person's natural colors, the best colors that they can wear in clothing and hair and in makeup, which is what a color analysis does. Short answer, the process is the same. We use the same colors, same order to do the same comparisons and looking for the same reactions in the appearance. So too warm is recognized in the same way. Too bright effects are the same for all people of that season, regardless of the lightness or darkness of surface pigmentation. Of course, your season, your group of natural coloring, that depends entirely on the colors that are already in you. Your greens, what are the reds in you? What is the white to black range in you? And that information is located in the skin at various levels. So whether it's a blouse or an eyeliner, whether it's a pair of jeans or it's a jacket, these are the colors that work for you because they're already in you. But lighter surface skin pigmentation does not mean a lighter season. And darker surface skin pigmentation does not mean a darker season. This is a map that shows how the 12 seasons or groups are arranged relative to one another. We've seen maps like this before. We saw a circle before. And this is just another way to present that same information. Our people today may have a lot of winter influence in their coloring. Well, that's 5 possible groups or seasons. You can see here, dark autumn, dark winter, true winter, bright spring, all have some amount of winter in their coloring. For sure, people of color, any color, need not all be winters. They can belong in all sorts of groups. Same as Rihanna, already on the channel, who may not have any winter in her coloring. We also have Lupita Nyong'o, Oprah, Michelle Obama is on the channel, and these people may be winters, but they may not be in the same type of winter coloring, and that'll apply as well for the people we're going to see today. Good first impression. Why? Ask yourself for a minute. Take a minute. What makes a first impression good in your eyes? Picture someone walks in the door. What is it that you're connecting with that makes you feel good? For me, first of all, I can see this person clearly. Their features, their body proportions. My eyes aren't working to find that information. Also, my eyes are happy. They're calm. They're interested in how these colors are working together. They're starting to put together relationships. They don't feel overwhelmed. My eyes aren't bored. They don't feel, whoa, this is awkward. They're not confused. What am I looking at? They understand what they're looking at. I see Sandra really well. I can see her face shape. I see the nose, the eyes, the lips. She looks rested. She has great vitality. Her skin tones are healthy. They look evenly colored. Her hair color, whether it's real or dyed, looks belonging with her skin, her eyes, and her dress. Dress feels good with the face. It supports and enhances the person. I don't feel that it's jumping in front of her. I might not want more blue under the face, but I'm not wishing that it were less. I'm about to change the color, and I'm going to ask you to tap into your first reaction. Is it going to be a step forward or step back? It happens in 1 to 3 seconds. For me, step back. Why? I can't see the person. The person has become the color of the gown, and so what I'm registering is hair, eyes, and this area of beige where it's hard to make out shapes. This is so important for people who talk on panels, for people who are seen in meetings from a distance, for people who get up on stages. You literally can't see them, and the further away you go, the less you can see. A color analysis is always comparisons. You're never looking at one color. There's always back and forth between the two. Why? Because that's how humans understand what they see and how we make decisions about what we're going to think next or do next. You're in a meeting room and one of these women, the woman on the left, is seated across from you, wearing a blouse of this blue color. Seated next to her is her twin sister, wearing a beige blouse. Who are you more aware of? The woman in the blue. Where's there more Sandra in the blue? Where do your eyes have to work to find the person? In the beige. You might say to me, well, this is a photographic question. This isn't a color question. Different lighting, different time of day, different background. Well done, my friend. You have just named #1 on my list for why I cannot do season from photographs. Group photos are awesome because they give us context, and context takes understanding from here to here. 3 women. Who looks great? So you need to slow down your eyes and you need to pause on each person. Where's there more person? Not more dress. Where is there more person? Same photographic setup this time. So this is more apples to apples. Well, I would say Sandra. Color is a two-way relationship. We react to it and it reacts to us. Something happens to the clothing because of the person wearing it. So let's look at the clothing. Where is the dress just looking crazy beautiful? Not a dress sitting on its own, but a partnership. For me, Sandra. The hair makes the dress look better. The jewelry makes the lipstick look better. There are all these mutually great relationships going on that then contribute to an amazing whole. I appreciate that Sandra has lips. They look glamorous and beautiful without being too attention-getting, and that's a fine balance. But the goal is to have the viewer's attention divided equally or evenly and very connected with our eyes. Everything else, all the other colors, supporting cast. And it's this bloom of gorgeous beauty and focused features we want to create on everybody, of all skin pigmentation. We just need different colors to do it because we don't arrive as a blank canvas. We bring our own set of colors into the situation. Something I find amazing is how different people can look with color. My first reaction prefers the right side, the one in black. Why? There's a little less pressure, a little bit easier to breathe. It's fresher. Something delicate and wispy here, but there's less force. If I feel force or pressure, what is the resulting emotion? Anxiety, at least it is for me. The red is a bit insistent, both the jacket and the lips, and yet she probably can wear versions of this color, say on a no makeup day in a fleece or a vest. Part of how we perceive color is texture, and the red, well, it's a solid color. It's an opaque fabric. The cosmetic is the same, and then the styles are a bit strict, so the whole effect is maybe a little forced. The look on the right uses black with sheer, with feathers, and they both soften the feeling. The hair looks more natural too. It's not lighter, but it is less pigment dense. It's a bit less opaque. Politician on a stage, in a crowd, at a distance, maybe the image in red is better, where you're trying to express a more forceful personality. But for a more personal or intimate situation, maybe the black is better. Black and red like this would be found in the same color group or season, but where do you work? What do you want to look like? What are you doing today? How much makeup do you wear? What are folks used to seeing you in? Because they're going to have something to say. Color is not strict. Once you know your group, you can really run with it. And so both looks find something that is true in this person, and you can decide how you want to look for any situation. Last one was Sandra. This is Sandra at the Emmys 2022, so just this month, wearing Rodarte. Highest brightness, meaning highest pigment concentration. It's kind of like the opposite of dusty color. Highest brightness, season of the 12, which is bright winter, this clothing. You can still see Sandra, but context gives meaning. Lightness makes sense of darkness. Matte makes sense of shine. So I would like more context, meaning less of the same color or less of the same texture. The satin's lovely, but we could have stopped there and made the rest of it white or black. You may have had a color analysis experience, and you might have seen a color like this. Because we're trying to separate, we're trying to push the extremes a bit to separate who could wear this somehow from who could not wear this no-how. And so the idea is not to make a wardrobe of this sort of thing. It's just a testing color, and you could choose to own it, or the matte version, or a bracelet, or you could go for other colors in your palette. Lizzo. Love Lizzo. Black works. It's in her eye colors, or very close, so probably in the overall pigmentation. Outfit seems like a good repeat for the natural darkness range, because the dark colors find one end of her light to dark range in her eyes. And then the shine and the earrings are finding the other end as white or diamonds as stand-in for white. Lizzo probably does go from white to black in her value range, her light to dark range. It's called value, because some folks are closer to the middle. They go from like chalk to medium dark gray. That would be their value range. There are browns in the skin tone, But the clothing, the idea is not that you choose clothing to match the overtone of the skin. That's just a very partial representation of your colors. And when clothing and skin are identical for any skin pigmentation, there's a look of, like Sandra in the beige, we kind of overblend into our clothing. Might look like we're wearing our colors, but we're not. I see the body and the face outline really well. Satin pants, they're fine. They don't appear to change the proportions in the silhouette. Think of everybody you know. How many could you say that for? But Lizzo wears satin very well, and black satin. She a little over-defined. We talked about that in the Harry Styles video, how when shadows go too dark, the effect is a bit severe. Like, you know when you're editing a picture on your phone and you move the contrast slider over too far, the difference between the lightest and the darkest in the pictures seems a little artificial or forced. Maybe Lizzo and Sandra are the same coloring group or close neighbors on the map of the 12. Different darkness of skin pigmentation, but they react to color in much the same way. Overall feeling is good. Doesn't need more contour, doesn't need more darkness in the eyes, but that's just a makeup choice. Blush lips, they're not severe. Remember the dry opaque look lips on Sandra in the red jacket? Looked heavy. Is that any different with this type of skin pigmentation? Nope. To me, this looks a little bit dry and opaque, a little heavy. These lipsticks are useful because they're so long wearing, but I'd love to see a little bit of shine on these lips. What about differences in clothing texture or shine between Sandra and Lizzo? Nope, sequin works to a point, kind of similar to how we did on Sandra. Well, what does change with skin tone in the same season then, or very close seasons? Depending on the person, maybe the darkness of the lipstick that looks like a natural lip color. Step back, person blends into their clothing, somehow becomes very near the dress color. So her colors are kind of draining, or the clothing is imposing itself and changing her colors. The clothing, maybe it's too warm, maybe it's too soft, maybe it's both. I don't know. Yeah, you got to look at some comparisons. The hair is also colored in that kind of coppery direction, which increases the sense of an orange circle with a person somewhere in there. Lizzo, who looks stronger, more present, more healthy, and more effective, is Lizzo in the black. I actually feel some pressure here, not in the way of Sandra in the red jacket, which there was a kind of overkill. Here, the pressure is a sense of looking at someone else, which then asks other people to figure out who you are. Well, they can't, and they can't be expected to. So they have to take us at face value. I go, okay, if you say so. This is going to be my mental picture that I'm going to carry around, but it's an impression of Lizzo that is not who she is. I mean, this color doesn't work anywhere as anything. In eyeshadow, it's too warm. Lips and cheeks, they're orange. And especially not great, the blush next to the natural eye colors. Hair doesn't look real, and it doesn't frame the face to give a nice defined facial contour, and it doesn't also give healthy colors to the complexion. Here's Lizzo at the Emmys this month, September 2022, wearing Giambattista Valli. Well, I think she looks beautiful. I can see the person easily. Her colors are vibrant and they're true. The skin tone looks like the real person. Good continuity with the skin at the shoulders and the hands. Fabric isn't too shiny, which is kind of easier for the eyes with the volume of the dress. I don't mind the amount of red, but I might mind it if it were all sequin. So it's just easier also to see the dress detailing. I understand what I'm looking at better, and I can appreciate the shapes and the story inside this garment. It's just gorgeous. And then picture it when she moves. It would be beautiful. Also, I love it being cut off at the knees because it's more interesting. And then we see color variety using our own skin color, because our own colors, our skin colors, our eyes, our hair, they're just another block in our appearance. Her skin's pretty and calm. Eyes, nose, lips. I can see them. I don't have to try to figure out where she is or who she is. I can trust that what I'm seeing is true and real. It's funny, I've said that we're trying to do the same thing for everybody. We just have to use different colors to get there. And we express different things according to who we are in the first place. And color is part of it. Like how winter does spicy, well, it ain't going to be chili. And maybe it's peppermint. And how dark autumn does sweet. Well, it's like there's olives and turmeric in that season. So they're not going to do candy, but they might do molasses. And I often think with summers, their colors are cool. So how does this person express their incredible warmth as a human being? By colors that express, that communicate sensitivity. Maya Rudolph. First impression, comfortable amount of color next to Maya's face. If I thought about, take the same colors, take the burgundy, make it softer and dustier, keep it the same, or brighten it up a little bit, make it more intense, I think I'd pick keep the same. I know the dress is there, I like it. I like the proportion of light to dark. The dress looks right for the person. Nothing really to add, and that's a good thing. We can just accept what the person's wearing and get on with our conversation, our relationship. She could wear the burgundy as anything. Makeup, jeans, boots. Your colors are already yours. They're all through your skin tones. So you add more of them anywhere you want to. Nice hair. Maybe blush and lip are a little bit too orange, or maybe that's just next to the dress. I would like to see a blush and lip nearer the burgundy of the dress. Hair color's good. It makes sense of the eyebrow and eye colors. It doesn't appear to be changing the skin tones. It is opaque, but she carries that well. Not everybody does carry hair dye well, the density of it, but Maya does. We saw her at a restaurant. My first thought would be beautiful eyes. Looks like a nice person. I'd be relaxed. I could be myself with her and have the best time over dinner. I'd be changing the name card so I could sit beside her. I would not be thinking, oh gosh, that hair is really too much. Beautiful. I love this. It's from a magazine cover in 2021. All over light color, but it is gorgeous. Let's say Maya's a darker season, where even the light colors are dark relative to other seasons. Recommendations are often to add a dark element somewhere to just create a balanced presentation. And I've said the same, and I stand by that. But it doesn't mean that other ways of wearing our colors are less successful. Within your own colors, the odds of looking great are sky high, however you want to wear them. I mean, if ever this woman needed a wedding dress, compare the white of the dress to the white lettering on the page where it says her name over on our left side. It's warmer than stark white, more gold, let's say, not a daffodil type of yellow warmth. Also more red tones in the white. You wouldn't call it peachy, really. It's more red and darker. Makes you think of parchment rather than ivory. Her lips are just so gorgeous. The color is not particularly dark. Maybe if you saw it in a tube or you drew it on a piece of paper, you might think, wow, that's darker than I thought it was. But on Maya, it just creates a beautiful, healthy, sexy, natural lip. The white letters, again, on the left side, they're sharp. You don't see those really in the skin. You don't even see them in the whites of the eyes, a different type of white. The color in the pearl, the shine in the pearl, and even the buttons, that seems to be more belonging or continuous with Maya. Gorgeous earrings. Textured metallic, neutral kind of warmth. It's not gold and it's not silver. It's somewhere in between. Eyeshadow works well. Repeats the tones of the hair. That's a really good visual. And not every season can do it, but Maya's group seems to be great in it. And she's got a really good and interesting choice of hair color too, because red, I mean, that's a tricky color to get right. Is this Maya's perfect white? I don't know. I need more comparisons to know that. But of all the whites she could have worn, well, go Maya or go Stylist. Well, now we've seen a few different Mayas. We can tell the color is a little bright for the person. We're very aware of it. It seems to jump ahead in our awareness. Well, then the person moves back. Very smooth fabric too, and the shine, they take the color higher. They make the imbalance more pronounced. You could cool the lip. You could cool the cheek color. You could take the earthy orange out, but the improvement would just be partial. Outside our colors, whether it's clothing, hair, makeup, all three, when it's too far from home, like Lizzo in the coppery dress, fixing one thing by fixing another, it just doesn't work. The answer is start again. We said at the start that too warm, too bright, whatever the situation, the effects are the same for all types of skin pigmentation. We recognize them by looking for the same types of effects. There's certain things just happen consistently within a given season in an analysis process, we're comparing you to you. We would be comparing Maya to Maya in a cooler color, not to some other person wearing too warm color. So Maya probably has some warmth in her natural coloring, but this just seems too warm. She's blending into it. It's not defining her. She's not separated from what she's wearing in a good way. And the color doesn't seem to have presence under the face. It just feels off. It still has low energy next to the face, or the whole impression is low energy. Skin looks yellow, especially along the jawline. The blush seems orange, and then the lips look pinkish, grayish, or chalky, and they're making each other look more that way. It's kind of forcing the opposition even further apart. Without enough cool or dark in both the clothing and the makeup, the brows have trouble belonging with the face, and the shapes change. The jaw, the cheekbone, especially the bridge of the nose, becomes wider and more rounded. So the features are not crisp, which increases that feeling of everything blending into everything else. The nose blends into the face, the lips blend into the skin. Never mind, it's not the most beautiful, healthy, or young Maya. It's also not the real one. There's enough color under the face, but it's good, meaning at or near the brightness ceiling, but comfortable, meaningful. I'm not wishing it weren't there. Texture's great. Both adds dimension and interest to the dress color. Also with Maya's natural appearance, she has some freckles, she has texture in her hair. Person looks separate from, defined by the color they're wearing. Well, you might say to me, I think it's a little bit bright. I wish there wasn't quite as much blue there. And then I'd say, well, is it the blue or is it the amount of blue? Is it the volume of the fabric? I think it's close, if not home. Color doesn't feel too bright. Definitely don't need it to be more blue. But her features are in focus. No blur. We're not losing Maya. Great hair, color, good lips. If I were going to change one thing, I think I would make the cheeks a bit more plum brown and less orange. Skin tone, maybe it's not as rich and warm as it could be, but again, that could be cool blue, could just be photographic. Overall, she could wear this color in a cotton summer dress, earrings, the way she is, right next to the face. Wool coat, nylon umbrella. She would not need to manage it in any particular way. The great thing about your colors, they find the same thing in them and in you, and then they get along. Well, that's just a good relationship. I hope you enjoyed this video and found some new ways of thinking about color and understanding what you see. I'd like to do a lot more videos with people of color. So if you have someone in mind, questions you'd like answered, conversations about certain outfits, please do let me know and I will make those happen, pictures allowing. I read your requests for Priyanka Chopra Jonas, for Kerry Washington, for Selena Gomez. They wear lots of different clothes, so I think we'll do them in their own video. I also read your questions about Aishwarya Rai. The truth is, I do not know. I do look at her images, but I really can't tell what season she might or might not be. So you might listen to that and think, oh, are some people too beautiful to analyze? No. Because you're comparing them to them. It's sort of like with children, they're so angelic looking that can you really make them look bad? Not really, but comparing them to them, your eyes do start pick up things and much more specific things than we mention in these videos. And you might think, well, are some people just too hard to analyze? In person, no, never. Are some people just colored out of harmony and that makes them confusing? Their eyes are one and their skin is the other. Never happens. Everybody is colored in perfect harmony. You just might need a little more information to understand how to look at or interpret their coloring. Ask me some more questions. And in the meantime, I look forward to seeing you in our next video.